I think Poland's such a disprover to the Russian narrative that a lot of people kind of on the real far right in the U.S. want to preach, because they make it seem like Russia's this bastion of conservatism and they're trying to save the conservative world, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Poland is so far and away more conservative than Russia is, and they're taking the threat of Russia more seriously than anybody.
Now, Poland's military, because this is what matters. Their economics matter as well, because you can actually form alliances and you can have some economic measures that you can implement, I guess, against other countries to keep people at bay. We do that all the time. We have sanctions against countries to make sure that they don't get a little too rowdy, and we take care of it that way. But they are massively ramping up their military spending and their military prowess.
Poland is arming. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Warsaw has been investing billions in new tanks, weaponry, cyber defense, and manpower.
March! Oh no, they can march.
By 2035, Poland hopes to double the size of its armed forces to 300,000 troops. Do you think Poland is ready for war?
Yes, definitely yes. We are ready,
Jace.
and we are doing everything to avoid that. Still, we have to remember about that. We are working hard to avoid this conflict, but if any of our enemies would try to fight with us, we are ready.
That's not scaring anybody. Are you ready for war? Jace, we love the war, but you know.
Get a better spokesman.
Jace.
Get a better spokesman.
The war.
Yeah.
Come on. If you're gonna have like a war hype man and you're gonna send out like a sizzle reel of why not to screw with Poland, you need something a little more like this. There you go. That's all you need to do. You also need Iron Man, but hey, not everybody can have that.
I kind of feel like that dude that was talking is a dude you don't want to end up in a room alone with, though.
Yeah, because he'll try to rape me.
He'll try to rape Gerald.
You gotta quit that. He'll try to rape me.
No, but
are you ready for the war, Jace? No, I'm not.
If you talk to anybody or you listen to anybody that's been in high-level military,
you're going to make a reasonable point.
They're always saying it's not the rah-rah guys you need to pay attention to. It's the quiet guy in the corner that could kill you in 2 seconds.
Yeah, but he just.
That's right.
It's only going to make your enemies more likely to attack if he's your front man. Really, and tell me if I'm getting this right. Like, Poland is reacting to the threat from Russia that they have kind of historically posed to their country.
Right. And I think Poland's such a disprover to the Russian narrative that a lot of people kind of on the real far right in the U.S. want to preach, because they make it seem like Russia's this bastion of conservatism and they're trying to save the conservative world, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Poland is so far and away more conservative than Russia is, and they're taking the threat of Russia more seriously than anybody. Yeah. This is not an argument for us to get involved.
They have experience with it too, right?
They know what the Russian ambition is. They know what Putin's ambition is. And they're a real conservative state that wants sovereignty.
And I would say this too, the president, Duda, I think, is a Catholic.
Yes.
And Putin is an atheist. And there is a difference there, I think.
Historically, there is a difference in those two.
Between atheists, you say, and
Catholics. God. They should have the Ark of the Covenant.
That is in, where's that at? No.
No, it's in Ethiopia.
We talked about that.
Ethiopia.
Probably in Ethiopia. It's the only reason those guys are getting into bricks. Well, look, if you enjoy these conversations, make sure you let us know in the chat. I'll say in the chat because this is all Mug Clubbers. Let us know. Let us know what you like talking about. We like diving into some of this. And look, you may not know a lot about these stories, but we want you to be well-rounded. There are stories that we cover every single day that hit like the red meat category, or, here's a pop culture story. And that's fantastic. But as world events kind of start playing out, as these political things happen around the world, you need to understand what's going on. And right now, Poland is doing a good job, right? Their ruling party, Law and Justice, which ironically is piss, is it's one S, but it's still piss. That's
pronounced peace.
Come up with a better. It's piss. See, it's right there. It's. They declared that within 2 years, Poland will have the strongest pissed off military in Europe.
So piss is saying Poland will have the.
I'm more afraid of the piss party than I am military guy.
I'm pissed. It's a long-legged, pissed off Puerto Rican.
I just It's just weird. But in January of 2023, they actually announced that they would increase their defense spending to 4%. So to give you some context here, now I know it's 4% of their GDP, right? And not 4% of ours. So the numbers are going to be vastly different. But the United States spends 3.47%, and Germany only spends 1.53%, which I'm fine with. Germany, I don't want you spending a whole lot of money on defense because you guys tend to
take
screw
over the
up the world when you go on a bender.
They get a little restless.
We're not asking for 30%. We're asking for 2%.
I don't want them to spend 2% on their own defense. Of all of the countries that spend less than they should, I'll give Germany a pass.
Oh, that's just such a...
I don't want them to do it because they screw up. But then they're just going to have more stuff to come at us with.
Germany,
when's the last time they fought somebody else?
Germany and Japan, you don't want over-militarized.
We literally need Germany and Japan to over-militarize.
No, bad take. I want Poland. I'll trade you Poland for Germany.
That's
I'll give you Germany. You give me Poland.
I'll take Poland.
We're taking Poland.
Yes, I'm right.
Screw you, Lane. It's almost like you don't know who started the only world wars in history.
Who did we fight in that Second World War with?
Who did we fight with?
After they screwed around to begin with and got pissed off at Hitler? Yeah, fine. Russia.
Right. Things change. The geopolitical landscape changes. We kind of need Japan and Germany to be armed now.
Screw Germany. I'm sorry. I just don't trust them yet. Japan, I think we're better.
No.
We bombed you with some really big bombs. Sorry. So maybe I'm more willing to trust you. Right. But let me just talk to you a little bit about, and fine, maybe Germany does need to be a good counterbalance to Russia, but I just can't trust them yet. So I don't know what team they're going to play for.
Understandable.
Fine. But they've been spending a lot of money on their defense system. So let me just give you kind of a real quick rundown here. So $15 billion from the U.S. on missile defense systems. Also from the U.S., $12 billion on 96 Apache helicopters. This is Poland spending. Yeah. Also from the U.S., it's kind of like they're buying a lot of stuff from us. $4.6 billion on 32 F-35s. Those are nice planes, aren't they? Didn't we recently lose one? Yeah, exactly. Now they have 33. I don't know. That's weird. They just got an extra one. It just kind of flew over there by itself, apparently. South Korea, they bought $13.7 billion of Panther K2 tanks and howitzers and FA-50 attack aircraft. And by the way, I think the tank may have been made by Hyundai. Poland also has been key, and this is a big point. They've been key in supplying weapons to Ukraine until recently.
Right.
You're going to see that they've kind of pulled that back. Why did they pull that back, Lane? Was it just because they were depleting their own munitions like we are and running out of the ability to, I think somebody else said this recently, the United Kingdom, I think, said, hey, we're getting to the point where we can't really sell you any munitions and armaments anymore. Is that why, or was it something else?
No, it's because Zelensky's a dick.
Oh, he is, and he plays the piano with it sometimes.
He tried to flood the Polish market with cheap-ass grain.
Why would you do that to Poland?
Well, and then Poland's like, could you not do this because our farmers need to make money too? And Zelensky's like, no, we will do this. And Poland told him to fuck off and F off.
Whoa.
That was a good Zelensky impersonation.
It was.
No, we will do this.
Yeah.
He is a sick puppy.
He is a sick puppy.
And so Poland just isn't dealing with that crap. They're not dealing with the bullying from Zelensky and his routine. They're done with it. And so they're like, okay, well.
His regime?
You sell your regime, whatever.
It's not a workout.
You sell your lame-ass grain somewhere else and we won't give you any.
There you go. And somebody else will buy his grain, so fair enough. But then, he's going to have to get arms from somebody else too. So that's going to be a hard thing to deal with. Well, look, so their military is expanding. It's getting much more formidable. I think that is a very good thing for people over there to do. Defend yourselves. Yes. We've been doing this for far too long, and you get pissed off at us every single time we do it because you don't like how we do it. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, war was messy. There's not a lot of good guys in war. It's a really tough thing to do without pissing somebody else off. So you guys do it. Fantastic. It's your land. You're going to fight harder for it anyway. I don't want to send any of our boys over there to have to defend it, even though I like you, Poland.
There's already a lot of
I know. I just don't want more. Okay? I don't want more going over there. I have sons. Okay? If you're going to do a war, do it now or do it in 50 years. Just not in the next 15. It's not self-serving at all.
When you have kids.
Yeah, when you have kids, you start doing the math, and you're like, let's not screw around right now. Yeah, let's do it right now, get it out of the way, and be done, right?
Colorblind, right, son?
But let's talk about their economy a little bit. So they've changed quite a bit. Like you've got a lot of these kind of not failed Russian states, but these Russian-influenced states or these Eastern Bloc countries, and the transformation in some of them has been dramatic. Go into Southeast Asia, look at Vietnam. The transformation there, freaking dramatic from 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago even, right? But from the fall of communism to today, Poland has seen incredible development and change. So here's Poland back then. 1991. I don't know what that is, but it's a large building with paint. This is public transportation.
Wow.
Very gray.
Roundabouts. Roundabouts. I hate them.
Stop whining.
Here's Poland now.
Yes.
Techno-ish.
Capitalism.
What's it called?
Freedom.
Looks so
Damn.
cool.
The
Like
chicks
stadium
so
looks
hot.
pretty cool. Are they?
Polish chicks, so hot.
God, you know what bothers me is I bought a timeshare in Belarus.
Should have gone to Poland.
I should have bought it in Poland.
Warsaw's where it's at, bro.
Damn it.
Look, and since 2000, Poland's GDP has actually increased 288%. Some would say that that's a lot of percentage points to increase from 172 billion to 688 billion. Again, context matters. Germany only up 109%, UK only up 84%. I know what you're going to say. They're a little bit more developed. It's harder to make gains when you're really strong already, right? I get it, but these guys are catching up very, very quickly. In fact, their GDP per capita is increasing. In 2000, their GDP per capita was 5 times smaller than Germany and 6 times smaller than the UK. Wow. Today, for both of those, they have at least halved that gap. A little bit more for UK, for Germany, they've halved that per capita GDP gap. They are making up ground. You know, the people behind the footsteps you're hearing, Germany and UK, that's Poland. They're coming up fast.
This is so much more impressive when you realize for so long they were Europe's.
My presentation of this information or Poland?
No, your presentation is the
Okay,
most impressive, maybe the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
To be honest with you.
I would never say that.
Some
Other people say
But
that.
this was, in effect, it was kind of like the China.
Shut up, chat. I hear you mocking me.
It would be the China of Europe, where the other European countries would go for cheap manufacturing, cheap labor, uneducated labor, and that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And now they're this, and they're thinking that they'll be entering the top 20 in world economies within the next 5 to 10 years.
That's a really
wild.
big move.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very big move, and I think it's high time that they have some success. They've had a lot of problems. Poland's economy is so strong, it's actually causing the kiddos across the pond, well, not the pond, across the channel to be a little afraid in London.
Mr. Speaker, after 13 years of Tory failure, the average family in Britain will be poorer than the average family in Poland by 2030.
How dare
That's a
they?
shocking state of affairs. If the Tories limp on in government, we're going to see a generation of young people learning to say Auf Wiedersehen, pet in Polish, aren't we?
How bad is it to be like, if we keep on going like this, we're going to be like them? It's like, oh, we're not so bad. What are you talking about, man? They're using Poland as their Mississippi. Poland is. That's what they're using.
You're right.
That's
You're
like
right.
such a backhanded thing. It's like they're increasing in value and we're kind of waning. It's like, yeah, but we're way better than those guys.
Not
We're gonna be
anymore.
like them.
It's also kind of like, oh, my neighbor just got a new car. Ours is older now.
Well,
Like,
Poland,
So?
doesn't Poland have less economic regulations? They're more of a marketplace, right? They're
They definitely are.
embracing
Well, you have a really interesting point, though. They've done something that a lot of these other countries haven't done in avoiding kind of the oligarchs.
So right, that's why they were able to succeed where all these other former Soviet bloc states failed.
Fail miserably.
Is that transfer that they had to a capitalist system afterwards? They didn't do it too quickly. I mean, they transferred to capitalism very quickly, but all the companies that used to be state-owned, they were very slow to transfer those to private ownership.
Yeah.
Because what happened in a lot of these other former Soviet states, right away,
they just sold Gazprom to somebody for a favor, like the money goes as
right.
a kickback.
And it was the people that were in
Yeah.
security services and finances that knew what to do with it that were given favors. And so now in places like Ukraine, in places like Belarus, they're the ones controlling the country.
Yeah.
And in Poland, they avoided that by kind of taking it a little bit slower and also having not a slightly more state regulation over how things are ran.
Yeah.
As opposed to a lot of the free-for-all that happened in the former Soviet bloc after the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.